Hello there, my fine gardening friends. How the devil are you? Well, you've caught me. Well, actually, I deliberately did it, obviously. But you've caught me harvesting my garlic. And that is a nice looking garlic bulb there as well. So welcome to a cloudy, warm, humid night here in beautiful Nova Scotia. We have had, this cloud cover's welcome actually, because we have had very, very hot weather this July so far and the end of June, and it's been quite dry for quite a long time. So it's been challenging gardening conditions this year. The spring was pretty dry, and like I said, this July has been pretty dry. We had a little bit of rain, was it yesterday? Yesterday, maybe the day before, a tiny bit of rain, but we really haven't had a lot of rain. So very challenging conditions. But I thought midway through July, or was it towards the end of July even, that we should have a little look around the garden. And I've left my garlic a bit later than I should have. Been very busy at work this month. But as you can see here, this is my music garlic, and I've got music and red Russian on the other side there, which gone over quite quickly. So I should get on with harvesting this today really, and then I'm going to spread it out to dry underneath the eaves over there, as you can see, in between my boy doing his wood stacking. So why don't we have a little look around the garden and see what's done well and what hasn't done well. A few things not done well this year, a few things that have done well. So let's have a little butcher's, shall we? So as you can see, you are in my sort of older beds of my veg patch, and there's the garlic, and I've got literally nearly 100 garlic bulbs in that 6x4 bed. So that is a really good harvest, a good yield that I get out of that small sort of bed there, and they will, you know, once I dry them out and get them going, they will last me all the way. I've actually still got garlic from last year in my cupboard that's going a bit ropey now, but this, I'll soon be using this stuff now, and that will last me all the way through winter. A very good, well worth growing, I think. And as soon as I take all this stuff out, I'm going to give the bed a quick spruce up, maybe put some more compost on there, give it a good watering, and then I'm going to plant some yellow bush beans. I'm going to sow some yellow bush beans, and they will be ready sometime in sort of September time, because they grow quite quickly. Now that'd be good. Right, this bed here, carrots. Now they were challenging to grow this year, but I've already had some really nice carrots out of here, and I've got a second flush just starting to come up, and they don't look much, but they will soon come up like this lot here. Let's have a little look what we've got in here, shall we? See if we've got any decent ones. See, these are small ones, but definitely, you know, they're deliberately small, although that one is a bit of a big unit. I've planted them quite close together, but very nice, and they absolutely taste beautiful. Can't remember what make they are, but I've had some nice, look at that, look, carrot and coriander soup already. So there we go, some beauties there. So the carrots, they're doing all right, and like I said, a second flush already, and I'll be planting another set probably next month for harvest later on in the autumn. Oh, beautiful smell of carrots there, lovely. The red ones, I planted these red ones, and I've not been particularly happy with those. Let's get one out. Well, that one's actually gone right, but all the other ones seem to have gone, you know, all funny shapes that I haven't been particularly happy with, even though they tasted all right. So there's the carrots. So carrot's been doing quite well. This is a carrot from last year. So one carrot, and I thought I'd let it grow and go to seed, but it's kicking the bottom out of growing here, isn't it? Look at it, a veritable massive bush. So you can see what happens to them when you let them get on with it. the dry conditions. So this bok choy is not like that. It went to seed quite quickly, and I need to pull all that out and re-sow some new lettuce in there, I think. This lettuce has just gone to go into seed now, but that's been really nice the last couple of weeks, harvesting off that. And I've got some new ones coming there, and I might just spread them out a little bit and they'll soon grow nicely. So there's mint growing really well. Look at this lot. This is the asparagus, obviously the asparagus bed growing out really well now. So let that grow until the till it browns off in late autumn. Then I'll cut it back, and again next spring again there'll be the first beautiful bits of green that I have in the year. So that is excellent. Here's my onion bed. Now I think they've been a bit stressed with this dry, and they are actually just starting to go over. Look, you can see here when they bend over like that, they are done growing. And like I said, they're not massive onions when I planted them, but I've been planting them in very small groups, so I get a big yield. And I don't need a great big onion, you know. When I'm cooking, that's normally decent enough for me to get a nice bit of grain. So I'm going to pull these out, and these will need to be dried off so that they can store, and they go well into winter again. So not bad there actually. Let's have a look at any of the red ones. What's the red ones like? That's not bad. That's all right. Yeah, happy with that. So there's going to be a big turnover of beds in the next week or so, and I can get into second harvest, sowing, you know, some quick growing stuff like lettuce or radishes. Like bush beans are really good to grow because they grow really quickly, so that'd be good. Or, you know, some second harvests of get some broccoli in there, and that will grow into the autumn time. So it's still me, I'm still here. Right, now, I'm not sure whether this is a success or not. It's suddenly, everything's all died off. And I don't know whether it's the seaweed that I used or not. It may be. I may have made a bit of a disaster. We'll come back to that on another video so that we can see whether this usually works really well, seaweed, but that seaweed is a bit dodgy, I think. It may work or may not work. I'll have to get in there, and I might dig a couple up at the end of this video and see what we got. Strawberry bed. Total and utter disaster this year. There's me being all flash. Dug all the bed out, made it all, you know, separated things, got rid of a load of weeds which seem to have all grown back. And normally they grow really well, but I hardly had a strawberry at all. Maybe it was the dry spring again that we had, but definite disaster. Hopefully they'll come back this year. Whereas this lot here so far, well, the birds ain't got them yet, obviously, because they're not ripe. Look at this lot. These are blackberries, and it looks like I've got an absolute bumper harvest coming here if they all keep going. So I'm pretty pleased there, and even more flowering still. So that looking good for later on in the summer. Right, round here, these are my autumn fruiting raspberries. So they're just growing up now. They'll start to flower probably next month, and into sort of late September, October, I'll be getting raspberries, the sort of last fruits that you sort of get in the year. So that's definitely welcome in that time of year. So there we go, that is this part of the veg bed. Now we've got my sort of new one that, on the other side, which we'll have a look at, and the greenhouse. So we'll have a little look at those lot now. Some successes, some not successes. Oh, just a quick one. Blimey, look at that. Just noticed all that grass growing back, get rid of that. This is good. Maybe a coriander or cilantro, as you call it in North America. I let it grow. It grows all over the place in the garden now. You know, it's short-lived, but I like to let it grow all over the place so that I can grab some for a nice fresh salsa or a curry. Right, here we go. So there's the greenhouse, and here is my bean tunnel, which is normally at this time of year start to become a riot of beans either side, but I had terrible trouble this year with slugs. And if you can see down here, they kept nibbling off my beans, and I managed to, even though I sowed some direct and I planted some after, you know, growing them in the greenhouse, but the blackguards still kept getting them. So I've only got half a tunnel's worth of beans, but these ones are starting to grow nicely and starting to flower and beautifully fruit now. So I'm soon going to have a banquet, a veritable banquet of beans, which I love. And obviously these are lovely red flowers. The hummingbirds absolutely love them, so it's nice to come here early in the morning and watch the hummingbirds discontentedly twitter at my presence, but watching them feed down here. But as we're going through, we've got 1, 2, 3 plants, which is, you know, will probably be enough. And I've actually noticed I've got a little purple bean one here and another one just red one just growing up here now that I planted later on. But what else I've done planted here is tomatoes, so I'm going to get them sort of growing up. And I thought this was a nice little leafed cucumber or something like that, but it's taken over, so I'm just going to let it get on with it. I've got more tomatoes here that I'm just going to let grow up over the tunnel, and they'll grow up high. So here all along I need to tie these in. Excuse me, being a bit jerky going around here. I've also got some, I think that's purple sprouting broccoli, or it could be kale, some ordinary broccoli. I've got some spinach here just starting to grow, and that's appreciating the shade actually of the broccoli, etc. I've got just some extra onions that I grew here, just to, you know, because they were a bit of spare room. And in here I've got some spring onions, or green onions as you call them over here. And I've got, what are these here? What's this? Squash. So this is a butternut squash. So I've got butternut squash in here, and some cucumber and some more squash. So, and some more squash there. So they're all, you know, going to scramble up. It's going to be a bit of a mess this year, but I don't care as long as it grows. I'm actually going to sow some lettuce in the back here, because this is nice and shady now, and at this time of year when it gets really hot they will like the shade. So that's there. Right, here we are of my new beds, which is a bit of a mess at the moment because I'm trying to lay down new ground cover here, obviously, in being bark chippings, etc., which I'm doing with my own shredder, but it was all stones, which keeps letting you know, things grow through it, which I hate. So I'm just steadily cutting down, etc. New post there, so it's all a bit of a mess where the grapevine is. I haven't finished along there, so ignore that please. So here's the two beds and a centre bed. So I am going to have proper archways here, but you know, money's you know, it's a lot of money for wood, so I think these will do perfect. I'll just do some more triangles up here. So I'm growing tomatoes this year, so those tomatoes, I'm just going to let them go all the way up, which they should, and they're starting to fruit. I'm not sure what these are. Actually, these look like the old bumblebee type one. So that's the tomatoes. I've got them that side, and some smaller ones that don't seem to be growing as quickly there, and a squash. Sweet corn. So I've got corn here in the middle. I was thinking at the back there, so I'm jumping around again, is going to be, that's not, I haven't changed that yet, but I'm going to knock all that down and build a new bed with a cage around it, and that's what I want to put the corn in, because the if I don't watch out, the old what are they called? Can't remember. Black and white noses, look like thieves, and they are thieves. Critters, we'll call them. They always have them just before I go to pick them. So, but I'm going to take the chance this year. So I've got some in there and some that side. So they're growing nicely at the moment. Got some beetroot in here. Let's have a look what this beetroot's doing. There we are, some nice little beetroot. So there we go. Got a few nice small ones there. So they're coming on nicely. So there's beetroot. Got that both sides. In the middle here is a flower, cut flower bed. And so I've got some gladioli, some cosmos, some dahlias. Can't remember what they're called, but hopefully the flowers will come up and I'll cut them or leave them for the pollinators. Peas. Peas have been a bit of a disaster this year. They've definitely, I planted them late. Got to hold my hand up, planted them late, and they've not liked the dry at all. So I'm going to pull them out over the next couple of days and sow something else in there. Here is, again, I think that's the purple spout in broccoli or the broccoli, whichever one it is. That's in there. Pulled out a load of bok choy that was there just now. Here's some chilies and peppers. I think that is parsley, but I've just put them in there because I thought they might grow. It might be a bit of a short season for them outside. I've got loads inside, which I'll show you in a minute. Got some nice lettuce coming up here, some tomatoes. Just planted this basil. Got more basil inside. Here's that sort of, I think that's the purple sprouting broccoli. Some spare onions. It's all a bit of a mishmash this year. Oh, I'll tell you one of the other things, and I got it that side. One of the other reasons why I think things aren't growing as well this year in this bed, as well, is because it's a new bed, new soil. All the mycorrhizal fungi, etc., hasn't had a chance to sort of grow underneath. So I'm not getting as good growth as I would normally get in my beds, and I haven't had a chance to use my own compost. This is compost that I bought out. Not particularly happy with it, but there we go. But things are still growing, just not as well as I want. Here I've got cucumbers, so you know, like I said, I'm going to tear this bed apart, but while I haven't done it, I've got some cucumbers growing, some small little cucumbers growing in there, and there's lots of them underneath here starting to grow. So I don't even like cucumber. Anyway, so there we go, that's this side. Not too bad, not as brilliant as normal, but we can't have everything, can we? Now let's have a little look inside the greenhouse. Oh, just round the side here. So I've not planted up things as much as normally as I would do, but I had some spare potatoes and I've done them the traditional way. So that I put them in quite late, but they're still growing, and as you can see, I'm sort of hilling these up. And they seem to be growing nicely, so I'm going to have a later crop of potatoes hopefully in there. There's a tomato that's just popped up from nowhere, and they're cuttings that I take of dogwoods, etc., and I'll be planting them around the garden. All a bit messy this year. Excuse the messy greenhouse. Right, so literally just planted a load of basil in here, so that'll be good. That'll start to grow really well in this little bed. Nice and warm in here, they'll love that. And here are my chilies. So we have some nice jalapenos starting to come already. Lots of flowers coming on these chilies. So I grew most of these from seed. I think these could be actually peppers, but they're all growing nicely, growing strongly, so I'm happy with them at the moment, and I should soon have some nice chilies coming there. Beautiful for the old curries, so happy with them. Let's have a last look up in the greenhouse, the top greenhouse. So as we are walking up to the greenhouse, have a little look at the old flowers. Here's some beautiful daylilies, and there's an ordinary oriental lily there, and here's everything else. The Daisies are looking lovely. Beautiful daylilies there, look at those. Absolutely stunning. And the Monarda. Lovely hummingbirds, love those. There's the Clematis doing well there. I can never remember the name of these, but very prehistoric looking plant, but that's doing well. So, round to the greenhouse. So, here we are in the big greenhouse. It's a bit of a mess, apologies, but it's also full of rather large tomatoes, which is quite funny that they're just about went in the same time as some of the tomatoes outside. So, you know, you can obviously see how much heat does to your summer loving plants. They're all the way up. We're going to have to stop them growing at the top there soon, or I might actually, because I've got them going up on cable, so I might actually drop them down, and then that will allow them to keep growing a bit longer. Because the bottom trusses, I'll just cut off the leaves, the bottom trusses won't be growing anything, so I can drop them down. I forgot about that, that's a good idea. And they will grow a bit further. But anyway, last year my tomatoes in the greenhouse were absolute disaster. Don't mind admitting that, I got hardly any tomatoes at all. But this year, voila, we have a absolute plethora of tomatoes. So let's have a closer look around the greenhouse, shall we? So, mostly cherry tomatoes in here. I say mostly, I've got some big purple ones growing as well. But look, as you can see, lovely trusses of tomatoes all the way up. Coming around here, oh, I need to pull that up now. I've missed that, but tomatoes growing in, you know, all the way along. Let's have a look around here. Tomatoes everywhere, so everything is growing nice big. These are going to be big fat beefy tomatoes, so all the way up we've got tomatoes growing, and on the other side. And also, as you can see, my rather out of control grapevine, which produced really nice grapes last year, is absolutely going bonkers this year as well. Grapes all the way along and all the way on the other side as well. But the tomatoes, really pleased with all these tomatoes. Just planted a load of basil down here, so that hopefully give me lots of basil. Now these, even though they're not looking brilliant, are my Mad Hatter peppers that I overwintered last year, hence why they are so massive. And as you can see, they are producing an absolute mass of small, about sort of that big size peppers. Nice tasting. Both of them will be growing them all nicely. So lots and lots of peppers to come on there. So I'm really pleased that I overwintered about 6 of them. So only took 2 of them stayed on, but there we go. That's what happens when you overwinter chilies and peppers. You get that little bit earlier plant, and it grows away nicely. So what else we got here? So we got some new basil that I sowed a couple of weeks ago, so they will soon be ready to go into their own pots. More basil here that I've just potted up. Some not very good looking jalapenos in this greenhouse. I always seem to have a problem with whitefly in this greenhouse, which is a bit annoying. Oh, I'll tell you what's pleasing. There's not a lot else to see. Right, this is annoying. Beans. So only 3 bush beans have come up. I had a load earlier, but the mice had them, and then something's come in and dug a load up, and they haven't come up again this time. And these have not done very well at all, so I'm just going to sow them outside. But here's my cuttings from some lovely pelargoniums. They have come on nicely. And where's the one I wanted to show you? Even though it's not a vegetable, this is one of my honeysuckle bushes that I took a load of cuttings of, and 1, 2, 3 and I think 4 have taken. So that's really pleasing when you get cuttings like that take. What else we got? Well, got to get rid of these. So these have gone over now. But also, I think I've got something like a cucumber or something here. That's growing up nicely. Lots of them starting to grow. And there you go. Look at all those grapes. Bonkers. So they'll be nice purple grapes later on. I need to thin them out a little bit, but absolutely delicious they were last year. There we go. Like I said, a bit of a mess. So there we go. A bit of a look round my veg patch. Bit of an up and down year again. You know, sometimes being a bit too busy, started late on a few things, you know, got to hold my hands up. I'm not the perfect gardener. I'm the optimistic gardener, not the perfect gardener. But lots of successes. Garlic's looking really good. Garlic's always easy. It's a good doer. So I always recommend people, if you've got room, grow garlic. Garlic's done well. The onions are looking good. Asparagus earlier on in the year was brilliant. The tomatoes are starting to grow well, definitely in the greenhouse, and even out here they're starting to grow nicely now. The corn's looking good. What else we got going? Some of this broccoli I think will come out nicely. And what else? And all the sort of cucurbits like the cucumbers, squashes, all that malarkey, that's starting to grow strongly now. Lots of flowers on them and lots of cucumbers to come. So, oh, and the chilies in that greenhouse are looking good. So win some, lose some. But definitely, job's a good one.